Hello, nerds. Welcome to How to Comic-Con. Pre-con edition for Denver Comic-Con 2018. Let's roll the intro and I'll explain things.
Quiet on the set. Rolling.
Hi, I am Bitsy Telek.
Hey, I'm Hale Appleman.
I'm Walter Kane.
I'm Rene Aubergenois. Odo on Deep Space Nine.
Michael Dorn, Lieutenant Commander Worf, Star Trek The Next Generation.
Come and see me and hear me and talk to me and listen to me talk about myself.
Hey man, this is Kevin Smith, often considered generally nerdy, and you are listening to what is often considered generally nerdy.
On Generally Nerdy.
You're listening to
Generally nerdy.
Generally nerdy.
Generally nerdy.
Okay, sorry about the dramatic lighting. This is going to be real quick because everything is all packed up. So, advice for How to Comic-Con when you are not getting a hotel for a large con. Because we've already done not getting a hotel for a small con, but not getting a hotel for a large con can be kind of a pain in the butt because parking is an issue. Starfest, the parking wasn't much of an issue because it's a smaller con, and they have a giant parking area right across the street from the venue, so that wasn't a big deal. But it kind of is for Comic-Con because it's it's in the heart of downtown Denver. It's not like right smack in the middle, but it's close. So you have to, if you are unfamiliar with the area and you don't have a hotel that's within walking distance of the con, then you need to familiarize yourself with the area at least as much as that you'll know where the parking structures are and the parking areas. I happen to know at least around the convention center down in Denver well enough to know there's a couple of pretty good parking areas that are a few blocks away, but nothing crazy. But they probably won't be full because they're not in the immediate, like, 1,000 yards or so. Yeah, that's a fair estimate of the measure. Maybe 500 yards, either way. So yeah, know where to park. Also, be prepared to pack some food. Yes, there are vendors at Comic-Con, but it's kind of expensive and it's not the best food to eat. And we've talked about what's the good stuff to eat, right? Take some apples with you because that's like drinking that gives you the energy like you drank coffee. Take some nuts with you because those are good in protein, so they're going to keep you going. Apples, again, fruit in general is always a good idea because you can keep it in your pocket. And if you take nuts or like a trail mix or something with nuts in it, then you're gonna want to like keep some in your pocket or in your bag or whatever, so it's easily accessible. So when you start to feel yourself dipping. And another important thing, and it's gonna be really dark in the kitchen, so another important thing, and we covered this at Dink, and it's going to be slightly more important at Denver Comic-Con, is water. Make sure you have yourself a decent water bottle for everyone in your group. Whoever's with you, make sure everybody has their own water because Comic-Con of this magnitude, so you could compare it kind of to the Phoenix Comic-Con, slightly to San Diego Comic-Con, Salt Lake Comic-Con. It's on that level. If you're going to one of those, Emerald City is about this size, so stuff of that nature. It's huge. It's in a giant convention center. There is, a bunch of people that are going to be limiting your mobility, so you can't push through to get to water fountains. At the Denver Convention Center, there are water fountains, but they're not super. If I remember correctly, they're not super abundant. They're not all over the place. They just kind of are scattered randomly. So there's that. Just be prepared. You don't want to spend a whole lot of money. If you've got the money to spend on food, then by all means go. But I feel like you would rather spend your money on the art and on getting comic books and the other reasons you're there and not fueling yourself. If you can fuel yourself on the cheap, then that gives you more money to spend on art and on things. So yeah, pack food. That's really the key to pre-con, especially when you're not. I mean, any situation, because even if you had a hotel room, that just means you can pack more food. So you want to make sure you've got. If you need a cooler, get yourself a cooler. They're pretty cheap. You can get one of those styrofoam coolers, which work for the purpose fairly well. So get yourself a little cooler, and they're like $3 if you get the styrofoam coolers, $5, something like that. And make sure you've got room in your car, and don't stress out too much. Also, make sure you've got your plan. If you need to print it out, write it out, put it on your phone. Denver Comic-Con has an app, as do most large Comic-Cons, though in previous years, when you're on the vendor floor, the app doesn't work very well because it's reliant on Wi-Fi, and you get crap signal. It's reliant on signal. Wi-Fi if you can find it, but usually you can't find free Wi-Fi at Comic-Con. So if you have a physical copy, like I said, first thing we do when we walk through the door tomorrow is grab a physical copy of the schedule and the map and everything, because that is always your best bet for finding your way around. If things update and you catch wind of them through the app, be it when you're taking a break or somehow you get signal randomly and things update, make sure you update that on your physical copy, just because, again, you're going to get really bad signal on the vendor floor and oftentimes even in the panel rooms. So have your loose set plan, get some food together, make sure all of the necessities are packed the night before, and you're going to be setting yourself up for success. Thank you guys for sticking around, and we'll see you tomorrow for day 1 of Denver Comic-Con 2018. But before we go, always remember, guys, that if it's generally nerdy, it's probably here.